Good morning, students. I'm Pooja Malik, your science teacher from Springfields Public School. Students, today we are discussing about useful and harmful microorganisms. So, let us start with the useful microorganisms. Open page number 26 of your book. Useful microorganisms. What are the uses of microorganisms? So, I'll discuss certain uses of microorganisms. Microorganisms, as you know, that most bacteria, they are present inside the soil and they act as decomposer. It means any dead plants or dead animals which die in the soil, they are decayed or decomposed by these bacteria, and the nutrients are released into the soil. And there are certain nitrogen fixing bacteria, you all have read about it in class 7th and 6th, that there are certain nitrogen fixing bacteria like rhizobium which are present in the root nodules of leguminous plants, and they fix nitrogen or they convert atmospheric nitrogen to the water soluble form, and they enrich or they maintain the fertility of soil. Then there are bacteria which help in treating sewage and producing biogas from waste. This is on page number 29, bache, in cleaning the environment. This topic is under in cleaning the environment. So these bacteria, they help in treating sewage and producing biogas from the waste. Many herbivores, now this is under this page number 20 29 only. Some other uses of microorganisms, that there are certain bacteria present in digestive system of herbivores and they help in digesting cellulose. That is why herbivores like cow, horse, goat, etc., they are able to eat grass or cellulose and they are able to digest it, because there are certain bacteria present in their digestive system, in their stomach, so which help them in digesting cellulose. But human do not have these bacteria in their stomach, so we cannot eat grass and digest it, right? Then certain bacteria help in making antibiotics. It's on page number 28, making medicines and vaccines. That bacteria and fungi are used for making medicines that are called antibiotics. Antibiotics are the medicines which kill or stop the growth of disease causing microorganisms and hence are used to cure diseases. Penicillin. Penicillin comes from the species of mold called Penicillium, and there are some other antibiotics made from bacteria or fungi, right? Then there are some bacterias. This is also on page number 27, that certain bacteria help in making products like vinegar, ethanol. Ethanol is kind of alcohol, so these help in forming vinegar or ethanol. What happens that yeast, we have studied about a microorganism called yeast. When yeast ferment the sugar, alcohol is produced. So fermentation of sugar by yeast is used in manufacturing of alcohol and alcoholic drinks such as beer and wine. Bacteria are also, this is again on page number 29, some other uses of microorganisms. Microorganisms are used in tanning of leather. It is a process in which animal skin is converted into leather by treating it with chemicals, and some bacteria are used in this process of tanning, right? Then some bacteria, this is on page number 27 only, 26 only, that some bacteria are useful in making curd. I think you all know the process of formation of curd. Your mother takes milk She warms it up and adds 1 spoon of curd in that. So that curd contains a bacteria called lactobacillus, and lactobacillus grows and multiplies and converts the milk into curd. So lactobacillus bacteria is useful in converting milk to curd, and this is also used in yeast, also used in baking industry for making breads, pastries and cakes. Basically, what happens, the process of fermentation is taking place when yeast is added to a food. Yeast uses the sugar of the food, and the sugar of the food is broken down by yeast, and alcohol is formed and carbon dioxide is given off. This process is called fermentation बच्चे. Now the carbon dioxide which is released during the process, it fills in the dough जो हमने डो बनाया है, it fills into the dough and the bread rises and becomes soft and fluffy. So all these things, cakes, pastries, breads, they are made soft and fluffy by the formation of this gas called carbon dioxide in the process of fermentation, right? Then there are certain useful fungi. They act as decomposers, I told you, and that help in adding nutrients to the soil. Fungi are also used in making antibiotics. Yeast, as I've told you, they are used in making alcoholic beverages and bread, idli. Mushroom is another edible fungi. You can directly eat it, and you know that mushroom also takes nutrients from the dead and decaying matter. So there are some other microorganisms which are used in research work. Useful algae, you know, they supply food to aquatic animals and also oxygen gas. It is believed that most of the oxygen, since algae can photosynthesize, so they give off oxygen, so most of the oxygen that we have on the earth was initially produced by algae in the oceans. Red algae is edible in certain countries. In certain countries there are water or aquatic plants called seaweeds, such as kelp, are used in food in many countries such as China and Japan, and it is rich source of potassium and iodine. Some algae are used in making toothpaste, jellies, ice creams. A substance called algin, ALGIN, on page number 28 it is given. A substance called algin is obtained from algae, and it is used to thicken food such as ice creams and jellies. Some algae enrich the soil with nitrogen. Algae also do the work of nitrogen fixing, and they are blue-green algae. Some algae are source of iodine and potassium, as I've told you. These are also called seaweeds. They are eaten in China and Japan and known as kelp. Then we will discuss about the harmful microorganisms. How do microorganisms harm us? Now microorganisms are harmful as they cause many diseases, and these disease causing microorganisms are also called pathogens. Types of diseases are there. Two types of diseases are there: communicable and non-communicable. You know that communicable diseases are the diseases that can spread through sick to healthy person. An example is common flu like cold and cough, and today we are fighting with the communicable disease called, you all know, it's COVID-19 or it's coronavirus. It's a virus and it is spreadable, it is communicable from one person to another. There are certain diseases which are non-communicable. It means that these diseases do not spread from any sick to the healthy person. Example, lung cancer. If a person is having a lung cancer and you sit near that person, you talk to that person, you touch that person, then that disease will not spread to the healthy person just by touching or sitting in contact. Now, how pathogens enter our body? Actually, you all know that today we are talking about this virus, and it enters our body through the air we breathe, or water we drink, or food we eat, or by direct contact with infected person. or it may be also carried through carrier. Carrier means like insects, mosquitoes can also carry these diseases. So I will discuss them one by one, that how it is spread through air and water and other ways. So students, these pathogens can enter our body through any source, and when they enter our body, they multiply inside the body cells and they start killing our healthy cells, and that is why it results in disease. Now there are certain examples that, as we have already discussed about common cold, that if a person is suffering from cold, it sneezes, the person sneezes. So the droplets of moisture carrying many viruses are spread in air. This is same is happening in the case of coronavirus. If a person is suffering from coronavirus and is having cold or cough, and the person sneezes or he coughs in the air, then the virus germs of this virus, they spread in the air, and then they are carried to the healthy person. So always if a person is having cold or cough, the person is recommended to keep a handkerchief or to cover his face with at least hand or a tissue paper, and dispose of that tissue paper or handkerchief safely so that it do not get in contact with the healthy person. Now the same, as I've told you, that if a person sneezes in the air, the germs are spread into the air, and if the same air is inhaled by another person sitting close, so there is a chance that virus can transmit to his body, resulting in infection. So to prevent droplet infection, one should keep handkerchief on nose and mouth while coughing and sneezing. What are carriers and how they spread diseases? Now carriers are the organisms that carry the pathogen to the healthy person, like malaria. It is caused by a protozoa, and which is transmitted to healthy person by biting of female Anopheles mosquito, as it is present in saliva of female mosquito. Another example is, you have heard about it, dengue. Dengue is spread by the female Aedes mosquito. So if this mosquito bites a person, the person is infected and he gets the dengue virus and he gets ill. So there is another disease called rabies. Rabies is carried by the rabid dog. If a rabid dog bites a person, then through the bite or saliva of that dog, this disease is transferred to the healthy person. So to prevent mosquitoes, that we are always recommended that we keep our surrounding clean and do not let water collect anywhere, as mosquitoes breed in water. There are certain diseases like tuberculosis, which we also call TB. TB is spread by a bacteria and it is spread through air. Measles, it is again a virus and it is spread through air, and so it is just the preventive measure is to keep the person or patient in complete isolation, as we are seeing today. In case of coronavirus also, the person is kept in complete isolation. Chickenpox, it's also a virus. It is spread either through air or through contact. Even if we touch the infected person, it can spread into the healthy person. Polio is also a disease caused by virus, and it is spread through either air or water. So keep the person belongings of the patient away from those of the others. Vaccination to be given at suitable age. Today these diseases, they were researched upon, and vaccines were generated so that these diseases can be prevented. A person do not get these diseases. So children are given vaccinations at different stages. Cholera, again, it is caused by bacteria and it is spread through water or food, and it is also it can be prevented through maintaining personal hygiene and good sanitary habits that we keep our neighborhood clean, we keep our houses clean, washrooms should be clean, and we should not eat with the dirty hands. Always we should wash our hands before eating and like that. There are certain plant diseases also. Plants also suffer from diseases caused by microorganisms. Like there is a disease called rust of wheat, which is caused by fungi, and it is spread through air. This is another disease called yellow vein mosaic. It is caused in bhindi, and it is also spread through virus, and it is spread through a insect. Now, how can we avoid spreading of microorganisms? I think you know it better now. You all are following these practices these days. Wash your hands before eating, after preparing food, and after using toilet. Cover your mouth while you cough or sneeze. Keep yourself away from other people that is suffering from any disease. Do not eat food which is not fresh or not cooked properly. Right now, conditions, there are certain conditions that promote microorganism growth. You know that microorganisms can spoil food also. So there are certain conditions which are responsible for the growth of microorganisms, like food having high moisture content, जैसे मिल्क है, कर्ड है, जिनमें मॉइस्चर कंटेंट बहुत ज़्यादा है, या वेजिटेबल्स हैं, फ्रूट्स हैं, इसीलिए बहुत जल्दी ख़राब होती हैं. फूड केप्ट फॉर लॉन्ग टाइम एट रूम टेम्परेचर. अगर हम ऐसे मॉइस्चर कंटेंट वाले फूड को, लाइक दूध को अगर हम बाहर रूम टेम्परेचर पर, यू नो दैट इन हाउसेज आपके घर में दूध है, दही है, दीज material are kept in the refrigerator. They are not left for long in room temperature, otherwise they get spoiled. So when skin of fruits and vegetable get damaged, exposing food to microorganisms, and food with low salt content or low sugar or acid content, क्योंकि शुगर, सॉल्ट, एसिड ये माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म की ग्रोथ को रोकते हैं, स्टॉप करते हैं. सो इफ़ अ फूड इज़ हैविंग गुड अमाउंट ऑफ शुगर और अ गुड अमाउंट ऑफ सॉल्ट, यू नो दैट इन हाउसेज अगर आप मैंगो रखते हैं, मैंगो रखें घर में, तो आफ्टर नियरली 4 to 5 days इट विल गेट स्पॉइल्ड. लेकिन घर में हम पिकल बनाते हैं, अचार बनाते हैं उसी मैंगो का, एंड इट इज़ केप्ट फॉर ईयर्स. Why? Because it is having high amount of salt, it is having high amount of oil in it. That is why. And these act as preservative. They prevent the food from getting spoiled. So there are different methods of preserving food at home: dehydration, freezing, increasing temperature, and using preservatives. Dehydration is just simple like sun drying, कि आप धूप में सुखा दीजिए, सो दैट, बिकॉज आई एम टॉकिंग लाइक मॉइस्चर इज़ रिक्वायर्ड बाय द माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स टू ग्रो. सो बेसिकली वी वांट टू फिनिश मॉइस्चर. अगर हमने मॉइस्चर हटा दिया फूड आइटम में से, इट कैन बी प्रिजर्व्ड और इट कैन बी केप्ट फॉर लॉन्गर टाइम. तो हम जैसे जिंजर पाउडर है, जिंजर को सुखा लिया, मॉइस्चर इज़ रिमूव्ड फ्रॉम इट, सो इट कैन लास्ट फॉर a longer time, like potato chips, fenugreek, methi, like others also. So it basically we are removing water or moisture from food, and simply we can do it at home by sun drying. धूप में सुखा लेंगे उस चीज़ को, moisture will be removed and we can store it. Lowering temperatures, as low temperature slows down the activity of microorganism. For this we make use of refrigerators for preserving food items like milk, curd, vegetables. They are kept in refrigerator. Increasing temperature. By increasing temperature also enzymes and microorganisms are destroyed. So there are two methods: pasteurization and sterilization. What is done in pasteurization? The food is heated to a very high temperature and then it is quickly cooled. So as microorganisms cannot withstand change in temperature, एकदम से बहुत हमने टेम्परेचर को इंक्रीज़ किया और फिर एकदम से बहुत डिक्रीज़ कर दिया, तो माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स इस चेंज इन टेम्परेचर को विथस्टैंड नहीं कर सकते हैं, एंड दे गेट डिस्ट्रॉयड इन दिस प्रोसेस कॉल्ड पेस्चराइजेशन. इट वाज इन्वेंटेड बाय लुइस पेस्चर. That is why this name is given to it. And there is another method called sterilization or canning भी बोलते हैं हम इसको. In this, food items are exposed to high temperature for longer time and in some cases high pressure also, and by doing so microorganisms get destroyed. लाइक एग्जाम्पल इज सिंपली बॉइलिंग वाटर. अगर हम पानी को बहुत देर तक बॉयल करते हैं तो बॉयल होता है जब पानी, तो मोस्ट ऑफ द माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स प्रेजेंट इन द वाटर दे डाई, एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड स्टेरिलाइजेशन ऑफ वाटर. Using preservatives, and I've told you that there are certain natural preservatives like salt, sugar, oil and acids. Any substance that is added to foods to keep it for long time. So examples of preservatives are salt, sugar and acid. Natural preservatives like salt, sugar, lemon juice, oil and spices. Chemical preservatives are like potassium metabisulfate, citric acid and sodium benzoate. So if all these things are added to the food, then food can be preserved for a longer time. So students, this ends your chapter. I'll send you the question answers of this chapter, and you can write down those question answers in your book notebook. So this is chapter 2. We have finished this chapter. Thank you very much.